Hi, welcome to Soul Lab. Number 5.
Hello, yeah, number 5.
Number 5.
I'm Piata.
And I'm Allie from Soul Healing Essentials.
And you might notice we're missing our third leg to our tripod bar, but she's off doing some self-care in the desert, which is actually the topic we're going to be discussing today, is self-care.
How convenient.
I know. So,
one thing that I wanted to kind of start off with is the topic of self-care is just beautiful and so relevant right now. And the first thing that we started doing is like, oh, Barbara can maybe dial in, and Barbara can maybe, just ridiculous. Or we would tape on a different day, and then we realized, no, the point of self-care is that you do take time out of your schedule at some point and just be about you. You don't have to answer every single call. You don't have to answer every single email. And I understand that we're in a busy world and there's business people, and I'm not suggesting that you drop everything because it's my self-care time and the self-indulgence part of it. We're both, businesswomen, entrepreneurs, and we both come from pretty hectic careers. I'm still an architect, so I come from an architecture background, and I'm still a working architect. You come from science research, it doesn't get kind of more crazy with the deadlines, than that. So we completely understand, as much as we understand that there comes a time in the day and you just have to switch it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Barbara needed some time out. We just, go. There's no need for you to dial in. There's no need for you to, and I think that's very important to note.
So self-care is just such a broad topic. So we're definitely going to be building up on this, in later conversations and stuff. But we really wanted to touch bases on, because like Ali said, everything is just so hectic, and we're so busy working, and we're so busy, picking up our kids here and getting to gymnastics at 5 and, doing this and doing that. And
the schedule.
Exactly. Yeah. And the part that we're all missing, you and I both, and Barb, and that's why she's not here, and the whole world, what they're basically missing is self-care, because they're just like go, and before you know it, it's 5 o'clock, and it's like, where did the day go? There's I feel like mindfulness is kind of a lost art, and
that's
we are
so
definitely working on bringing that back. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit as we build on each week about our nervous system, for instance, because our nervous system...
Always bringing the science into
our
it.
Our nervous system just, it plays a huge part in, our stress levels, our relaxation levels and stuff. So basically what I'm going to be talking about is the parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic nervous system is a branch from the autonomic nervous system. So with the autonomic nervous system, you have basically the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So sympathetic is the one where we want to have on tune when we are getting chased by a bear.
Fight or flight, which we...
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight, yes.
I reversed them, but we mentioned on that last
how
week.
I remembered it in college was S and S for stress and sympathetic. So what we want to aim for in our life is to be in the parasympathetic mode. So there's a thing called the vagus nerve. I had this joke, but I'm not going to say it.
We love jokes.
Basically, how they say, what stays in Vegas, or whatever that thing. Well, anyways.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Exactly, but not with the vagus nerve, because it stays with you. Okay, that's
wow, science.
Anyway, so the vagus nerve is basically like the CEO of the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. And the parasympathetic nervous system is where our relaxation state comes in, our feed and breathe stage, where our healing takes place. And when we are on basically a dominant sympathetic response rate all the time, that's where epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, adrenaline, that's when it's all getting built up in our body. And we don't want that built up in our body in a constant state. So what we want is a chance for our body to slow down, a chance for us to heal. But how can we do that when we have all those chemicals in our body that is just constantly making us go crazy, because our stress levels are just to the roof, basically. Yeah. So basically, you know how when your computer kind of gets jacked up, or your phone, you have a control...
Starts thinking.
Yeah, a Control-Alt-Delete to restart. Yeah. You can actually restart your body like that. We have a Control-Alt-Delete with our vagus nerve. So a lot of different things. I'm going to keep building onto this because, you know, we have limited time. Yeah. But basically, your vagus nerve starts basically at your brainstem, and it branches down on two sides. And it's actually, I don't remember like Latin what vagus means, but it's something about wandering. So it basically it lines up with our chakras. If anyone knows
what vagus is in Latin,
I think it's wandering.
Just have a little comment.
Yeah. But it's interesting because it lines up with our spine, which what we're talking about.
Is that also related to tension headaches and all that? Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful.
So, you know, it lines up with our chakras, and that's basically what we're going to be talking about for the next 7 weeks, which is awesome.
Yeah, in our meditation circles.
Exactly. So, one of the things to really calm down if you're feeling kind of like really tense and stuff is to basically, we love essential oils. We are brewing some right now in our diffuser.
You can't smell it through the camera, but
you can't smell it, but there's a couple different things to control, alt, delete your body, and one of them is using some kind of stimulating oil. So what you would do is just put a couple drops on your hand, deep breath, smell it, and then put it behind what is called your mastoid bone. So that is right behind your earlobes. And the reason why we put it on our mastoid bone is because that's where the vagus nerve is closest to the surface of our skin.
So it gets in there.
So so the sensories can just basically pick it up right away.
What a great tip.
Yeah.
I love it.
Things you learn.
Things you learn.
Another thing to basically control, alt, delete, or restart is to breathe really deep, and we're constantly talking about deep breaths. So
meditation.
The trick is when you are doing a lot of deep breathing is your inhales need to be shorter than your exhales. So a lot of diaphragm breathing. So meaning breathing through your chest, breathing through your stomach, and that stimulation will basically kickstart your parasympathetic nervous system. And then another thing, just a quick story, you know, one of my teammates was really freaking out. She was completely stressed, and my first instinct was when I was with my other cheerleading teammates, I was like, hug her really tight, bear hug her. So deep touches like massages, swaddling. I like doing a adult swaddle where I like put myself in a blanket burrito to really put pressure on my body. Helps trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, and it helps calm your brain down. So when it calms down, you're producing a lot more dopamine.
That helps with
serotonin
autism as well. Like someone having I don't know if you'd call it a fit. Pardon me, I don't know that word, but if I think it's like if they're having a fit, then you can actually just a really tight hug and it
squeeze them tight and it calms down because it triggers the PNS. I should just say that because every time I try to say it, so you know, deep touches, massages are really good, or just swaddling, or even just hugging yourself, going in fetal position, hugging yourself really, really tight helps stimulate
Child's
that.
Pose, that sort of thing.
So that's basically what I have right now, you know, with self-care, but I really would love for you to build on that with your stuff.
All of my stuff. Well, I mean, the only thing that kind of got triggered when you were talking is you said reproduction, and I feel like now more than ever, we're kind of, that seems to be a really big issue, a really big topic, and my gosh, how much does that have to do with the fact that suddenly we made it like a trend or like a fad to be a very busy business person, you know what I mean? And it's almost to the point of self-indulgence in the sense that I'm just so super busy, I don't have time for that. And you kind of go, well, you have no choice, you have to make time. Because if your body's always on those stress hormones, at some point your body just goes, enough.
And that's why stress is called the silent killer. So what I always ask my clients, what I have to like consciously ask myself all the time, what system dominant are you in? Are you more sympathetic dominant or are you more parasympathetic dominant? Are you more feeding dis-ease or are you more feeding ease? And it's an important question to ask yourself, because you know, it's especially if you're like, I'm just so stressed I can't get a handle on things, then you kind of go, as much as you think that you need to get every last thing done, really have a look at your like to-do list and just get the important stuff done, just to give yourself that little bit of time to allow for that self-care, you know. And again, like, I know that I understand if you're in a very busy business environment, I understand if you've got, you know, a newborn and that sort of thing. I mean, I leave it to your discretion, but not long ago we didn't have a cell phone. Not long ago we didn't even have telephones where you could constantly be at someone's beck and call, essentially. And it is okay if you sometimes just can't answer that call because you go, I just don't have the headspace for it.
I'm going to just take a moment and I will call that person right back. It's not being rude. It's not being, dismissive. It's just right now, I know I can't give you the attention that you need. Let me give a little bit to myself, fill my cup a little bit, and then I've got more to give you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, because I think people confuse it with being selfish and then also being selfless, like, no, I have to give because that makes me a better person. Well, if you don't have anything to give from,
you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, if you need an apple, I don't care what I do, I can't create one,
Yeah.
So, and I think, yeah.
So, when we first started the meditations, we started with the Om chanting. And for a lot of people that had come to the Om chanting, I don't know if they realized that when you chant out Om, the vibrations in your throat actually travel throughout your whole body. And that's another thing that triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which also will calm you down.
Yeah. Lowers your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure.
Absolutely.
They're connected. It just slows down your breathing. I mean, when we were doing the Oms, it was 5 breaths to begin with. We were getting 3 breaths. We were getting 3 ohms in a minute, and by the end, you're down to 5, 6. So you really can tell that it just slows down your system, and it just makes you calmer. And I mean, there's so many techniques. Meditation. We invite you to our meditation circles every Thursday that we have, and we discuss different ways of meditating so that you find one that resonates with you. We discuss essential oils. We bring our singing bowls with us. We talk about crystals. We talk about so many different ways, and really it's just about finding that way that speaks to you so that you feel like you can kind of incorporate it into your life and make that self-care a practice like everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And quick question for you, since we both are entrepreneurs and we are both very busy with what we do. What are some examples that you do for self-care?
The meditation is a big one for me. I mean, I take a moment even before I open my eyes in the morning to do that regular meditation and the regular self-hypnosis. Taking a quick bath after, you've had, we can get into this big topic, but for women especially, coming home and just taking a few moments to take a bath or just light a candle or just have a moment to switch off that masculine side of you or the masculine energy that you've kind of been channeling all day in your business world, and to switch back over to that feminine energy, which is to be able to give and to, nurture and that sort of thing. So candles are a beautiful way to do that. Essential oils, even sitting down and playing with my crystal bowls, or just being surrounded by crystals, going for a walk. We mentioned in a few episodes ago, spending time with your pets, just going outside, going for a walk. Today we're going to be discussing the root chakra, which is all about grounding and all of that. It just calms you down.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the things that we're just going to have to keep saying week after week, because sometimes I hear it and sometimes I don't hear it. Our lungs have the capacity to hold 17 pints of air. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and the average person, including myself, is only breathing 2 to 3 pints, in each inhale and exhale, and that's
so we're just wasting our capacity, and same with the brain,
And then just taking those shallow breaths, that really doesn't do anything for the healing of your body, because you do need that oxygen into your system to help,
and your body's
flush
very
the yucky
powerful,
stuff out.
very powerful. So to wrap this up, we know that it's getting a little bit lengthy now. To wrap it up, self-care, take that time out for yourself and just love. Join us next week. We're going to be discussing anger. Oh, no, sorry. Next week, we're going to be discussing depression. The following week, we're discussing anger. So we hope to see you there.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.